Good afternoon, good evening.
Hey, close this down, right?
It's been a week. So let's start with two words that have always been very important to me. These two words have certainly been two words that you are used, making sure that that is indeed showing, which it is, that you are used to hearing from me when my company, whether it was way back in the AUSI days or the Mythic Entertainment days or now the CSE days, I've always used these two words when we do something, I do something, anyone does something dumb. And those two words are, of course, mea culpa. It is my fault. Over the last week, obviously, there's been a lot of concern, a lot of anger, not a death threat or two, but some nastiness directed at my way. And you know what? I'm good with that. What happened last week was very upsetting for many within our community. Many of you folks who have played my games for decades or even a decade were upset by what you heard. And again, that is my fault. I blame no one but myself. I blame no one for their anger, but again, myself. It was well intentioned, but that doesn't matter. Intentions, well, you know, there's certainly an old cliche about roads and paving and good intentions, and I'm really sorry for that, and not sorry in the sense of, because I and my studio and its members had to put up with some nastiness, but sorry that people got upset. And I'm not going to justify it. I'm not going to sit here going, but you guys get, no, hell with that. I'm here to do three things. Four. The first thing is the mea culpa, the apology. My most absolutely sincerest that you could possibly imagine. It's been a rough week, and I also apologize to the folks at CSE, because they too had to hear some terrible things, and that is my fault. And frankly, I haven't been the happy for it either. So I apologize to them as well. That's the first thing. Now let's move on. The three things that I want to talk about, and they're super important, is what have we done for Camelot Unchained in the last 6 months. There's been a lot of debate on it. There's been a lot of conjecture, some very wrong information, hints that we or accusations that we did nothing. We're going to dispel that once and for all. That's number one. Number two, where the heck are we at today? Good question. That's been asked a lot. I intend to show you exactly where we are today and also ask a bunch of you to join us. Hopefully everything will go well. The reason that we were delayed 15 minutes was to make sure to get the latest and greatest build-up, which we did, but took a little longer. And third, where are we gonna go from here? I'll be discussing that as well. After that, questions will be answered. But for now, Max, please turn off comments. I want to go through all of this. I want you all to see all of this. And then we will leave it up to you. So let's get started. Number one, hey, you can see it right now. Camelot Unchained features and tech. This is not even everything we've been working on, for Camelot Unchained. These are some of the things we've been working on for Camelot Unchained in the last 6 months. As you can see, it's everything from the ability system update, Overmind, improved character collision, NPCs. I could just read all of this, but that's kind of boring. So, can you guys see it? Oh, wait, I turned off comments. I should have done that first. Sorry about that.
They can respond on Discord.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully you can read it. If you can't, I will read every damn item if you want me to. Can we get some?
You can read it on stream. Yeah.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a couple minutes, look at it. Look at all these things. These are things for Camelot Unchained. These are not things just for another game. These are not things even just for Cube. These are things for Unchained. So whether they're directly for the gameplay of Camelot Unchained, or for the engine that drives the gameplay of Camelot Unchained, or something like the patcher for Camelot Unchained, everything in this list is for Camelot Unchained. This is what we've been doing. And again, this is not all we've been doing. And some of these things, we haven't gone into as much detail because, well, we wanted kind of to fit on a page like this. So, yeah, take a look. Tell me what you think. Well, you'll be able to tell me what you think. I want to see if there is. So some of the things that people have been asking for. For example, on the forums, is like, what's the update for warbands, orders, and battle groups? Well, that's something we have been working on. It's not finished yet, but we're actually covering that in the third document, or the second document. I'm going to show you the third part of this presentation. But look at all the things that we've been working on as a team. This is all for Unchained. Again, whether it's part of the engine or not, well, it's always part of the engine, excuse me, other than art. These are all the features and the tech that we've been pushing that will help not only make Camelot what you see today, but what will push Camelot forward into the future. So let this stay up for another couple minutes, and then we will go live, hopefully, with something. Well, actually, I'll start with a video. Hang on.
Some people are watching on mobile and request that you do read them off.
Okay, so because of the folks who are on mobile, I will read them off. I will try not to go too fast. I apologize, as always, for my combination of weird British, New York, Virginia accent with a little bit of a lisp. But hey, you should be used to it by now, considering how late we've been. And in some cases, the decades you've been playing my games. So let's start. Ability system update. Under that, we have projectile prediction and responsiveness, capture system updates, summon upgrades, limited system, spatial state visualization tool, trigger volume upgrades, including trap support. Okay, those were some of the ability system upgrades. Overmind, brand new feature. Scripted control of spawning, NPCs, landmark loot, player messaging, and gameplay. And so much more. That's just what we have in now. Most of what we have in now. But more coming. A lot more coming. Talked about Overmind a little bit in the presentation last week. I talked about it on the forums. Overmind is so important. Overmind is going to be driving not only scenarios, battlegrounds, but it's going to control the depths. Kind of super important. Next, improved character collision. Kind of important for a game like ours, where character collision is indeed a thing. NPCs, NPC behavior tree, line of sight, target selection, attack timing variation, and the ability to have thousands of them, even though it says thousands of players. Unless they meant thousands of players with thousands of NPCs. Sorry, this was all coming hot off the presses. Next, improve scripted items, looting in game, Linux servers running. Now that only has one line, but let me tell you, if there's an item on this list that deserved to have its own page, it's Linuxification. That is so important to Camelot Unchained, to Cube, to FSR. Everything we do, every game we do, needs to be running on Linux servers. We explained before we couldn't do it until very recently, well, in the scheme of things, because .NET wasn't a thing on Linux. We had talked about when it became a real thing on Linux that we were going to port things over. This will allow us, especially for RCU backers, to play the game and for us to keep the subscription price lower. It's up to a 50% reduction in the cost of cloud servers. And since we want to run off the cloud, so we can open servers everywhere without having to worry about having, as we did, say, during both the Dark Age days and Warhammer days, having an absolute presence in the country, which means having people in the country. If there's a cloud hosting company there, we can use it. So that is so important to us, because it doesn't matter whether you go to GCP, AWS, or Azure, you're always paying a hell of a lot more for a Windows server. So that is so important. It's critical. It is absolutely critical. So that was moving along and continues to move along really well. We actually have a game server running under Linux. Next, knockback. Spatial query prediction on client and improved rubber banding. So, we all want, hopefully we all want knockback in the game. Now that's part, of Unchained, and we will be building, that into the abilities. Ragdolling. If not overused, ragdolling is a great thing. So we'll also see that in CU. 3D pathfinding. How many times have I said our NPCs were as dumb as rocks? Well, not so much. We now have enlarged dynamic environments, real-time dynamic nav mesh generation, nearest to goal path determination, partial paths, large-scale NPCs network path request system, and NPC stuck detection and correction. Essentially, those are a lot of words. It means our NPCs are anything as dumb as rocks. The ones that we showed in the other game were quite smart, and they're getting a lot smarter, both on their own and through Overmind. And the one thing I'll say about this is that, when you see a lot of other games, especially when they go large scale, you see the NPCs acting, using flocking behavior, squad-based behavior, whatever. Right now, all of our NPCs are independent agents. So they're making their own decisions on a one-to-one basis with the players. So that's actually kind of cool. Now, eventually, we will have things like I just described, but being able to put that many NPCs out who are really doing their own thing is actually pretty cool. Next, improve Skybox with Sky Zone editing. So that's something else I'm going to talk about later. Essentially, it just makes the world look prettier. Graphics. Okay, a whole bunch of things here. Dynamic shader loading, lighting system improvements, improvements to normals and reflections, order-independent alpha overhaul. And you've heard me say this before, those letters, AOIT, model instancing and loading improvements, reduce hitches. That's a big one. Texture processing quality improvements, reducing jagged edges and noise in textures, reduce shimmer and flickering in textures, asynchronous mesh uploads, client performance when buildings are damaged, which is really important for a game that damages buildings. Fast material swapping and effects on models, and significant overdraw optimizations. And we've got more coming, especially in that one. Next up, client threading improvements, server threading improvements. So those are the two things also that came under Linux, but also we've improved as well. Threading is the key to our engine. Threading is what allows us to do all the things we do with the game. I've always described our engine as the most parasitic engine on the planet, and I'm really proud of that. We will take every damn core, every damn thread that we can get our hands on, both on the PC side and the server side. It allows us to really take advantage of the power of your machine and do some pretty great things. Patcher, more performant crash dump system. Improves client perf at all the time. Distributed patch server load balancing and many bug fixes. In other words, make the patcher better. Support for instancing the depths. Yeah, kind of a thing. API server scaling, load balancing, and auto scaling. So this is something I've been talking about, for the last week and even before that. Auto scaling is super important, to Camelot Unchained. It is what will allow us to bring up instances that we can use, with the whole bubble tech thing I told you about many years ago. It allows us to bring up battlegrounds. It allows us to have spin-off scenarios as you folks want them. Not the typical, hey, we just have an open world, or we just have these battlegrounds that's, start and might be limited to a number of players or a number of instances. We just want to set things up so it can scale to whatever it needs to scale to based on demand. And that's not, obviously easy code because, gee, if you make a mistake, all of a sudden you spend a whole heck of a lot of money. Because in the case of, say, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, we're charged by the minute the servers are up. So being able to shut them down by themselves as soon as they can when they're done, kind of a big deal. So connection stability, UI push notifications, server cycling stability, client connection management, and inter-service communication channels. More warbands, orders, and battle groups. Back-end server improvements, cost reduction, and server stability and reliability. So, look, we know you want warbands. They are an important thing for CU. They have been being worked on. They will continue to be worked on in the upcoming quarter. Load testing, kind of a thing. Unit testing suite, editor tools. The editor, as you all know, has been something that, we've been trying to find a senior tools guy to come in and improve. It has been the number one job that we've been looking for years. And we haven't found anyone yet who can do what we need them to do. And, we've had one of our own engineers, Rob, to detour a little bit and help out, and he did. And now the editor is so much better than it was, but it's not what it needs to be, especially as we move forward. But we did do terrain relative placement, animation data builder, a transform gizmo, and not the good gizmo from Gremlins. I love that movie. Object selection, terrain multi-select, and texture combiner. In other words, we made the editor better as well. And so Ben is much happier because if Ben isn't happy, scenarios don't get done. So we're trying to keep Ben happy. So if you're a tools engineer, please give us a call. 1-800, we need you. Art pipeline knowledge, material pipeline and process improvements, environment creation process, IOR updates, and procedural materials. Word salad to most of you. Word salad, some of it to me too. But it basically means we've improved the pipeline for how we get from what's in the artist's head to the great work you've seen in the game from them. And that is a big deal too. Metrics and telemetry. Metrics are a thing. They're a kind of a big thing. We need them for CU. We didn't have them, for example, with Dark Age. And boy, was that a nightmare because we didn't. So we want to have more. And so right now we can split between monitoring and game metrics, monitoring dashboards and operation views, performance reduction for metric collection. And there's a story behind that. Log collection and categorization. One of the jokes around here is every time the server used to slow down, I said, yep, but it's the logging. A lot of times it was. So, yeah, better. Improvements to the chat server. Server hosting improvements and cost reduction. Part of that is Linuxification. There's other things as well. Developer and cloud operations work necessary to support a live game. Live games are a thing. Some Kickstarters actually do get finished. Database hardware upgrades, input and player movement updates, base user interface and WebSocket resilience, data layer, high volume caching, and data retrieval resource layer. Okay, so that's a lot of words. That's a lot of tasks. This, and again, these are some of the things, most of the things that we've been working on for a chain, but it's not all the things. The whole point with this was to show you folks we have not abandoned Camelot Unchained. We haven't said, yeah, we don't really care about you anymore. It's nothing like that, nothing at all. We had to spend a lot of the last 6 months doing this stuff, and not stuff, you know, one of the things that people have been saying, and then I'll take a quick break and drink some coffee, because I need some more caffeine. The shot helped. Anyway, one of the things that people have been saying is, oh no, all the tech you built it for Ragnarok or Colossus or whatever name they want to give it. And it's not true. You can see it's not true, and you'll see more of it in a moment. The whole point was that we told you folks over the last 6 months what we were going to be doing. We told you we were going to focus on Linuxification, that we were focusing on other things. And this was for all of us. It doesn't matter whether the game is CU, Cube, FSR, or something else down the road. All the things we were doing that are listed here are for Camelot Unchained. It's so hard to understand, and I get that. I really do. And it has nothing to do with, you know, whether you're smart enough or a game developer. It's just hard when you hear a developer say things, you know, like we've said, and then, sorry about that, you know, and then talk about something that you didn't expect. So here, that's it. I mean, that's the A list of what we've been doing, and there's not a single item on that list that either isn't true or that isn't going to be used, is being used by Camelot Unchained. Now, where did that get us? Okay, let's find out. So, first thing I'm going to put up is a video from May. So, this video is of the Cherry Keep. We've been talking about the Cherry Keep for a while. You've seen screenshots. Massively, I know, has done some stories with screenshots from it, but most of you haven't been in it. Why is it important? Well, go back to our Kickstarter. What was one of our absolute promises? It was that we wanted to build an engine that could drive a game with 500 players in a battle, in a keep, and have a good frame rate. No one to date has been able to do that. Not with the kind of destructible buildings we have, not with physics on the server, not with all the other things that we've been talking about. Now, back in May and April, a lot of you, well, small percentage, came in to see what the hell I was talking about. They were called stress tests. And they were stressy, that's for sure. But when you came in, you saw something very special. Now, we hadn't shown these videos yet. We didn't leak them. You know, we didn't do the, yeah, don't tell anyone, but it'll be okay. Don't post it. We didn't do anything like that. We just kept them private. I will make this public after the stream, but for now, I'll show you what we've been showing. Obviously our investors, what many of you saw in the game, but the vast majority of you have never seen before from CU, or frankly in any other game. So let me show you the Cherry Keep.
Matt is really wanting to emphasize in chat that this is from May.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, he just wants to emphasize it.
I'll say that again. This is from May. Let's not start at the end. Why don't we start at actually the beginning? So, here's what you're seeing. You are seeing over 1,000 NPCs Few players were there at the same time. Trebuchets, magic mortars, mages, all throwing their stuff back and forth at a 9.5 million block keep that was built by one of our backers. Sorry about that. That was built by one of our backers, Trivial. This is what we promised. This is what we said that our little team could do, that everyone else who's tried to do this to date had not been able to do yet. You are seeing this all live. You are seeing, a video of me in it. You will see it live in a few moments. But you are seeing exactly what we promised. We said we could make an engine where everyone else who had tried to do this had failed. And you're seeing it now. Yeah, dropped frame here and there. A little bit of jankiness you'll see here and there. But look at this. These are the kind of sieges I dreamed about when we were doing Dark Age of Camelot and before. Same with Warhammer. I wanted to be part of a siege where you could have these many things all firing, where you could play the game and it not be a slideshow, where you could play the game now and again see and be part of something that many of us have always wanted to be a part of. And we could do this, and we're doing this in May. And this isn't faked. This isn't, a movie made in the engine. This was me with, I think, 8 other backers running around while all this craziness was going on. Now, I've said a few times that everything you're seeing here is networked, which means obviously nothing is unhackable, but you would have to hack the server. This isn't client prediction, for building destruction. This isn't, all of this is happening on our servers. And that's kind of a big deal because, you could certainly do this on a small scale game where you had, weren't worrying about networking. But this is the Unchained engine. And so it doesn't matter if there's 1 person in the game, 4 people in the game, 400 people, in the game. I forget what I know we had over 100 join us, 100 brave souls join us for destruction. Now, if you look here, you'll see the building being destroyed. It's being destroyed block by block and then collapsing. As you can see, the pieces, all sorts of shapes, sizes. This isn't a template-based building system. We build block by block. So, Travail, buddy, 9.5 million. I think this one was only 9.4. He upped it to 9.5 in a later build. It's amazing. It's amazing work by him, and I think pretty exceptional work by our engine. We promised you we could do this. I know it's been a long time. It absolutely has. But nobody else can do what we can do. Not in this way. And like I said, it doesn't matter how many players, are in this match. Obviously within reason. We can't do 10,000, players in a battle, small battle. We could do that over a server, but not in a small battle. So far to date, the max we've gotten, we've hit over 3,000. I wouldn't say that the things were looking great then. It was running, but we were starting to get what we call Skywalkers because we weren't getting enough update packets from them. But that's just over, a battle this size. So this is for all of us who play these games, which is obviously almost everyone listening on the stream. This is tiny. This isn't a battleground. You know, this is teeny tiny. And now, well, hopefully when the UI comes back up, you'll see the number. We're probably down maybe 400 or 500. But things are still happily working, doing their thing. Some more destruction should be happening in a moment. You can see discoloration on some of the blocks. If you look here, where my head is looking, you'll see more destruction. Little bit janky, you know, when this starts to fall. But this was May. And the beauty of this is all being determined through a stability and physics system. This isn't, you know, we aren't cheating. We are running calculations all over this ginormous building as the trebuchets and abilities do their damage. And eventually these things collapse. So this is, you know, kind of cool. This is kind of what we all want. Those of us who want to partake in sieges. And this is what the engine can do. I know it's been hard to hear us constantly talk about delays and building tech, but this is the result. This is something, again, that we've all wanted to play in if you like sieges. This is how the engine can power your experience, not just what's coming up this year, but for many years afterwards. This is cutting edge tech, folks. And for you backers, you know, who've been with us, whether it's from day one or until now, this is what your donations have helped bring about. The engine to power the game of Camelot Unchained. And we hope you like it. We hope you look at this and go, this is what it is, which is amazing. And as you can see, as I fly around, things are still happily firing off. You can see the destruction happens. The destruction on the buildings. You can see how, if I would stop moving the camera so quickly, though I didn't make this video for it to be shown this way, you could see uneven destruction. You could see, hopefully, in another minute, I believe I start walking. Let's speed it up a little bit. So here, I brought in a whole bunch of NPCs just for fun. Refilled the ranks, have them fire at each other. This was all part of what led to what I called the running of the NPCs, where I'd bring in 1,000, 2,000, eventually 18,000 NPCs to test how many we could render in a live game, how many we could network in a live game. And once again, in a tiny space like this. So, you know, that's the Cherry Keep. That's the battle we've been talking about. That's what we were doing in May. I hope you enjoyed that. And now let's go to another entirely different thing. So now I am going to jump into Nawada Prep. Tim, could you please open it up to everybody?
Sure. IPs, alphas.
And betas, please.
Okay.
So what we're doing now is backers. Let's have some fun. Let's see what happens. Come join us in the latest build of Camelot Unchained on Nawada Prep and join the Cherry Keep Siege. I'm going to get my character set up, get a scenario running, and I'll put it on the screen in just a moment.
Somebody is saying that the video is still running in the background.
Shouldn't be. Oh, it's the delay probably. Alright, so what you're seeing now is the latest build of Camelot Unchained. You'll see that the graphics are a little bit different. That's because we changed the lighting system and changed the particle effect system. So you'll see some differences there. So come on in, backers. You are welcome. Join us. Right now, 37 people have joined us and 1,000 NPCs.
They're telling me by other chat channels that they are updating.
Ah, 44 now have joined us. And this is live. For those of you who will be seeing this later, this is live. This is me, a couple people from CSE, and anyone else who wants to join us. Now, one of the things you'll notice, calling it out, is the frame rate's a little lower at times. That's because of the new effect system. We improved the hitchiness. We've improved the smoothness. And Andrew's got, now look to your left. Look at that. And down it goes. We want it to happen faster this time. So these buildings are kind of not sturdy. So you'll see a lot more destruction, which is one of the reasons the frame rate's lower, because stuff is being destroyed all over the keep. And that's the thing. This keep right now, the way everyone's firing back and forth, it's being hit all over. We cut it down by more than half. You remember from the first video, you weren't seeing building destruction for quite a while. So we're now up to 60 people are joining us for this.
Matt asks, could you repeat which tiers can
Everybody.
Everybody.
That's why I said everybody. Anyone can come in. Alpha, Beta 1, Beta 2, IT. $62 people. Please create either a TDD or an Arthurian. Should have said that. My bad.
George points out the easy to destroy buildings put a lot more stress on frame rate.
I already said that, Max.
Oh. I'm going to give the reason.
Okay, go ahead.
In the background, because they're in the background, we're generating millions of triangles for meshes each second.
That's George. He runs the West Coast studio. All sorts of goodness have come from him, including the parallel library. And he's, of course, absolutely right. Lots of stuff going on in the background, like the entire keep needing a hell of a lot more screen doors than it did in the other version. So we hope more people keep joining us. The engine doesn't care. They want you all to come in. Sit a spell. Take your shoes off. Come back now, you hear? Oh, I got to be able to quote the Beverly Hillbillies sometime.
Yeah, I think that was the time.
Mm-hmm. We told you that what we were working on was hard. We told you, as always, the trials and tribulations that we were going through. And it was all to be able to do something like this, to deliver to you folks something, again, that we've dreamed of, something that you could play, something that you could have fun with. And not soonish, not, years from now. We've got 68 people who've come in now to join me, Tim. I think Brian may be in there as well, and a couple others. But this is all happening. This is not, oh yeah, it'll still take us another couple years to do this. Oops, we got a flying piece of debris. And down it goes. Boom. This is stuff that you, our backers, who are jumping in. We're now over 70. 78 it looks like, coming on in. Come on, more.
Just to repeat what Mark said already, you need to queue for the Cherry Keep scenario.
Yes, Cherry Keep. '84. And as you folks know, this is the first time we've done this. For those of you who are seeing this video for the first time, it's because almost nobody else has. So don't feel bad. We didn't want to talk about stuff yet. That is something that I've been very, as you know, for those of you who've been backers for more than a few weeks, I've been reticent to show things until we were further along. And it wasn't because, oh my God, CSC's trying to hide something. No, it's because I wanted to wait until we could show you things like this. Things that our backers, our backers, could get in on. Things that show the power of the engine, the hard work that the entire team has put into this. That's what I wanted to show you. And maybe if I hadn't, done the dumb in the way the announcement went off, I wouldn't have showed you this yet. That's probably true. I wanted to have something else to show you first. And that's something else we are currently working on. Really, we were off... Uh-oh. Something going on the server, Tim? Or is it just me?
I don't know.
Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a couple people crashed.
Aren't live tests great? Yeah, if you are backers, we've been trying to track down a memory bug. It's something that we've been talking about for a while. It's no surprise. And that's looks like what it bit me. Server stayed up. Let me go ahead and change a few things for my character. So as you can see, trebuchets have been taken out by the defenders. The castle has been, beat up pretty badly. Frame rate, as you can see, has gone back up because there's not as much building destruction happening. Oh, and by the way, the only thing that I have got turned down right now in our graphic settings is the shadow max distance. Let's just increase that a bit. $89 people in. Nichols, hey, how's it going? He said hi. Must say hi back. It's polite. 91 people. Come on, let's get 100. $93. Come on, join us. Please. I'd like to get over 100 while we're streaming. And that's, by the way, 100 with 700 NPCs scattered around in the keep, outside the keep, wherever. 92. Let's break 100 for fun. Artists, sorry to interrupt your work. Please go on to Nawada Prep and join us in the Cherry Keep scenario. We'll find out. Good time to find out. Andrew just warned me that because of our shitty internet connection here, while I'm streaming, something bad may happen. Well, let's find out. I mean, that's the worst thing that can happen is the stream will start to go and I'll ask the people to log out. Yeah, our connection here is not good. No, not good. 101. Okay, guys, never mind. We're over 100. You can join us if you want, but you don't have to. And the memory thing hit me again. Goddamn. All right, hang on. I'll be right back. Yeah, this was, again, also one of the reasons we weren't quite ready to do this yet. We really did want to get this fixed before we showed, but given everything that has happened in the last week, I kind of thought it was more important to actually show you what was going on versus waiting longer. To demo it for you folks. But what's the important thing here? Really? A few things, but the two I'll focus on is we're showing you this live. This isn't a video, obviously. This is just me and 100 plus of our backers playing the game. You're seeing it as our backers see it live, and sometimes living too many colors. But you're seeing it. And you're seeing it and in a way that, okay, I think I am almost ready. Hang on, just let me do a couple quick setup things again on my character. What do we got? Okay, back to 90 people. Hopefully some of those who Disco came back. So yeah, you're seeing it, with our backers. You're seeing it live. You're seeing it, warts and all, the occasional crash on the client. But what are you not seeing? You're not seeing server issues. You're not seeing a lot of frame drops. You're not seeing a lot of hitching. You're not seeing a lot of the things that plague games like this, including games I made. What you're seeing is a cutting-edge engine made by just some super talented and hardworking people. And that's the biggest takeaway, is that we have built something really cool. We have built something that we hope you all will really enjoy. And without this tech, without that hard work, this wouldn't have been possible. You all know that. Anyone who's a gamer who has paid any attention to engines and MMOs, no, you just can't go out and buy an engine that can do this. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes money. And some of it was your money, obviously. The money that you donated to us to make the engine and to make Camelot Unchained. A lot of it was my money. I've talked about that before, no need to rehash. And a lot of it was the investors' money. The same investors who invested in me and Dark Age of Camelot. They were the first investors in Mythic. They were the ones who, without whose help, this wouldn't have been possible. So, at this point, because I've been talking for quite a while, like over an hour, almost an hour, let's just do a quick roadmap. And it's short. It's not as much information there. There we go. As you might like, but it gives you an idea of these things that we're working on over the next 90 days. So let's start with a visual update to the Cherry Keep. And this is all under Camelot Unchained. And why is it under Camelot Unchained? Because it is just for Camelot Unchained. This is not for Cube. By the way, Cube has also been getting some love. Thanks, Matt. And we'll continue to get more. I wanted to focus just on Camelot Unchained. So, visual update to Cherry Keep. You saw from the old. You know what? I'm going to also stream. Let me switch this back, because there's still people probably who would like to see the Cherry Keep go. So let me get out of that mode and go back into the game. And I'll just talk about the items, and I can put that up afterwards. So I just wanted to talk about Unchained. I just wanted you all to see what was going on in our heads in terms of CU. Nothing else but CU and the engine. Okay. Let me jump back in. So as you can see, Trebuchet is destroyed. My machine, this is great, because actually this crashing like this just on my machine is lovely. It means we can we have something good to repro. So I will instead, well, actually I don't have a video from today. I should have filmed that. That was dumb. Okay, so let's just talk about this again. So visual update to Cherry Keep. So you saw some of it. We have to update the effects. We have to look at the textures. We have to look at all the things that you saw there, because we changed the lighting model. So that's going to happen. We're also going to make more visual improvements using the engine as well as add more things. Art is making a style pass on it. Then there'll be a new CU scenario. So this is a scenario is a scenario I think you all are gonna like a lot. Can never guarantee that you'll like a scenario, but I think this is the one that you all have been waiting for. Something that we hope can run 24/7. Not right away, we have to make sure it's really good, but the goal is to have that up 24 by something. And part of the reason we can do that will be the Linuxification. So it's going to be an RVR battleground scenario. It'll feature a central keep, which is buildable, destroyable, and repairable. There'll be new siege engines, and there'll be scripted events using Overmind. Kind of a big deal. Then, update to CU characters. Updates to abilities, inclusion of new knockback technology, updates to art, material, visual improvements, animation, VFX, and SFX. Obviously, our animations, if you look at Final Stand, are very different. During the time we were making that, we made improvements to the animation system now and changes to the animation system. Now we'll apply them to CU. And when people say, ask, wait, I thought everything was the same. Well, it is. The tech is the same. And now we have to improve the animations themselves. Warbands. So, yes, we are planning on doing more work on warbands. UI updates. New class trio, the Devout. Planning for next class with consideration of bringing in an extender class, the Spirit Mages. We've had an initial talk about that. It is something that we will continue to talk about, whether we can bring in an extender early because of some of the work we've done, obviously on Ragnarok, but more importantly, because we have the tech to do it. And I would love to bring in the Spirit Mages much earlier than planned. Review of crafting system and next steps. Well, that's on me. Got to spend more time on it, see where we're at, see what I need. Integration of shared tech and CU abilities, scenarios, etc. Yep. In other words, Overmind and other things. Live service stability and scaling. That's the auto scaling. It's things that we need so you guys can come in and test on 8v8s or 8v8v8 or Cherry Keep with not as many trebuchets or something else. The ability to just have that spin up and down as needed by you folks and not having somebody like poor Brian who was helping us on testing literally just going like this every 30 seconds. We don't want that. We don't want a broken finger from that guy. He works hard enough. He doesn't need to do that. So, that's part of it. And additional lore. Yeah, that's me. I mean, I should have been writing more. I will write more. Then engine. Now, again, this is all engine stuff. This is stuff that goes across the entire, breadth of what we do here. And it doesn't matter whether it's CU, whether it's Cube, whether it's Ragnarok. This is just engine stuff. And by saying that, it's just engine stuff, as some people on the forums were saying, sorry, it isn't just engine. Without an engine, you don't have gameplay. No, just meaning that it applies to everything we do. So, client memory and performance improvements. You just see why we need to improve it, right? Obviously, some of those client crashes they're all the same crash. That's the only time the client usually ever does crash. So we got to figure out what's going on. Plan for older video cards. We've been telling you folks that we planned on doing that. Well, yeah, now's the time. Linux-focused server performance improvements. We want to run a server 24 by something. Yeah, having it not run on Windows is a kind of a big deal. Better graphics configuration. Obviously, more choices for you folks. Improved 3D pathfinding. So here's the interesting thing. Pathfinding in CU is a hell of a lot harder than pathfinding, in Ragnarok. The reason add Cube, mainly because you guys can build anything you want in the game. Anything. If you can dream it, you can build it. No. But that's the point of Cube. And so typical pathfinding doesn't work. You can't pre-bake paths in a game where anyone can change by putting a wall down. So that's something that one of the reasons it's taken so long. This is not typical for games. Putting down a barricade every so often ain't a big deal. People being able to put down the kind of stuff that Trivial builds, like you saw, or Scott Florence, or other people who've been building, and uh, Necromaniac in the past, certainly. This stuff makes it really hard for NPCs. For those of you, which is most of you, who played MMOs, pathfinding for NPCs or pets hasn't always been the best. Well, that's why, because it's hard. Now, it's even harder in a game which can change dynamically, like this game can. So please bear with us. But it is working better, and will get even better. Overmind upgrades. I can't tell you. The guys on the forums hear it from me all the time. How cool Overmind is and how powerful it is, and that's thanks to the folks who built something that was just in my head and turned it into something brilliant, and it really is. So Christina and Spidey and obviously Ben and other folks who've touched it. Thank you so much. You've created something that is really going to drive CU and places like the Depths to the next level. Ragdoll improvements. Yeah, ragdolling is something that a lot of games had when it was really big to ragdolling, and then but then it got overused a bit. We want to find a nice, compromise between ridiculous and not effective, and we'll be doing that. Animation improvements. Um, when we were talking about this with the lead animator, his reaction was, "Oh, I get to fix the broken animations." Or no, he said, "First thing I want to do is fix the broken run animation." There you go. Then player-to-player shoving based on mass and speed. So in this case, shoving is kind of a good thing. But don't do it in real life, please. Unless it's to a buddy. Operations, server orchestration and automation tools. See, that's really important. Anytime you have a server, you really want to know how to orchestrate it properly, right? Because otherwise, then the RAM goes down one way and the hard drive is doing its own. No, I thought it was funny. Nobody laughed. Unappreciated. Bad pun. But it is important. I mean, this is all part of getting ready for a live game. And, that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing. It's if CU. I gotta be really careful here. If we weren't focused on making a live version of CU as soon as possible, we wouldn't be doing the things that we're doing. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We wouldn't be concentrating on live, whether it's for this, for Cube, for Ragnarok. We wouldn't be. There would be no point. We would be doing things to encourage you people to spend more money on our game, but not, and keep adding features to delay this game's coming out. We haven't. You've seen it. Whatever you think of us, whatever you think of me personally, all you have to do is look at when we turned off stretch goals and how we haven't added any since we turned them off. We want this game to come out. The investors want the game to come out. The team who's been working on it so long, God, they want the game to come out. So when you see things like this, and see things like what comes after the build, pipeline improvements, beginning of live operations tooling, it is all to deliver Camelot Unchained to you. And deliver it in a timely manner, because Lord knows we haven't been timely. But that's the thing. We just showed you what, you don't want to say our delays have bought us, because that's not, that doesn't sound right. But that's what the effort and the time and the money that we spent. It has brought you, our backers, an engine and an experience you can't get elsewhere. And what you saw with 1,000 is nothing. We can do way more than that. And for you folks who are in the game now, or who were in the game, you've seen me playing with thousands of NPCs before, and this is the old code, before the engine just went, yeah, those guys are starting to piss me off, and then wasn't updating them as quickly. We can do a lot more than that now, and we can do even more in the future. And whether it's NPCs or players, it's a matter of being able to deliver to you that kind of crazy experience, whether it is when you're battling other players, or you're in the depths, or you're in other places. And that is why we've been working so hard. And that is why we've been focusing on tech. And it was all to deliver what you just saw. So look, it's an hour and 15 minutes. I will say one more thing, and then we will open up the comments, and I'll take questions. Any question you want, if I can talk, if I can answer it, I will answer it. And if I can, of course, if there's legal, like, oh, how much, did this cost? Well, I can't give you exact numbers, but if I can, I will answer anything. But let me end this part of the presentation the way I started. Mea culpa, folks. We wanted to be able to show you the cherry keep. We wanted to be able to show you another scenario. We wanted to have things all ready to go at the same time. We didn't, and I should have held it up. I should have just said no. But that is my bad. That is 100% on me, and I so deeply apologize for it. I didn't want anyone to be upset. I thought, stupidly, and it is stupidly. That the ones who were angry I'd be able to talk to, just as I've been talking on the forums or on Massively, and explain myself and explain the decisions. And for a lot of people, they get it and have been really kind and really sweet, and I'm so grateful for that. And even for those who are angry, I get it. I totally get it. If you've been on the forums with me. Haven't banned a single person, haven't closed threads, and there was some nastiness. But I hope we're past that. I hope we're past it, because what I want to do is, once again, as humbly as I can, apologize and say that I'm sorry. But we have every intention of making Camelot Unchained the best RVR game that has ever come out. That is our goal. It is really that simple. It may be a niche game. It isn't for everybody, and that's okay. But our intention is for it to be the best RVR ever. And you saw one of the reasons why. You saw the tech that we've been working on. You saw the abilities, the engine's ability to not only render, but to network all you people. And without, on the server side at least, without a hitch. We'll fix the client one. That's just one we haven't had a chance to get to. But without a hitch, flawlessly. And that's why we're so excited about what we're doing. And that's why we are dedicated to create this great game for you folks. We haven't made CU the ugly stepchild, as some people have said, or we haven't abandoned it. Obviously, we haven't abandoned it. It is what it always has been to me, a passion project. It is something that I really wanted to do and that the team wants to do. And if we didn't want to do it, we wouldn't be doing it. We're doing it because we want to, because the investors are backing us to do it, to put in more money so we can hire even more engineers and more artists to deliver this game for you folks. And over the next 90 days, you'll be continuing to see our commitment to that. So again, please, I hope you will accept the apology, my mea culpa, as president of City State Entertainment, and that you will continue to join us in what has been a long, but as you can see, a rewarding journey for you folks. You saw the game, you saw the live stream, you joined us, and many of you joined us, and you saw the engine at work. So with that, please, I hope you will accept my apologies, and I'm ready to take questions, Max.
All right, opening up Twitch chats. And I'll make you big, yeah?
Make me big! I'm a big boy.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Okay. Whew. A lot of people were saving it up.
Gosh,
Okay.
what a surprise.
All right. Okay. Wolf Power asks, You keep saying you can see, and you just ask backers to get in. I'm currently downloading the update at 2 megabytes a second on a gigabyte fiber connection, and all I saw is you crashing at 100 players. And now I'm wondering if I'm waiting on the update for nothing.
No, the servers are open. We're going to keep it running. So please. No, don't forget, the game wasn't crashing. The game never crashed. Otherwise, the scenario wouldn't have been running. Our client crashed. We've had, as our backers in chat can tell you, this is a known issue. We've talked about it being a known issue. The server so far, am I correct, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Server has not crashed. That was just me, and it's a memory error on the client. We will take care of it.
Ningiliath says, honestly, having an always-up more or less server to play and test is my #1 bit of joy from this presentation. Really looking forward to that, sir.
Thank you, sir. Assuming it's sir.
Abducted Gaming asks, for the new scenario, can you describe how the building in the central keep is intended to work in this upcoming version of the scenario?
All I'll say is Ben and I will do a presentation on that. Got to keep a little bit of surprise for you folks. But it is, Ben has been working on it already. I've approved the design of it, so it is moving forward. It is one of his focuses, certainly, besides abilities, new class, over the next 90 days.
I think there's some misunderstanding with this question. Lex Lutho asks, when will Cube be open to alpha backers? Will later backers alpha IT be phased in for persistent access?
No, that's a perfectly good question. I'll be honest with you, I haven't even thought about that. Can't imagine why. Yeah, let's get Cube up and running. It's been again lying a little dormant, and Matt has been working to improve it. We will do more improvements, and then I think we should open it up to more people.
Denarian asks, will we get another 90-day roadmap in June? And going forward, will we get 90-day roadmaps like this until release?
Yes. Sure. I mean, look, I know it's hard for us, not you, for us, at times to be as informative as we should be in advance. We will do better. We haven't done great at that, I must admit. And not even must admit, I admit. And we will do better with this. This roadmap is good. It's not great in terms of the detail. I'd like to have more, but I really wanted to get this out to you all as quickly as we could. Again, this wasn't part of the original plan. We thought we'd have more time, to build this out. So there is some detail lacking. We will fill it in more as we move forward.
Sacrix asks, what is the projected year for release of CU at present?
When it's ready. I know it's going to be a terrible answer, but I've told you, Sacrix, I've told everyone, we're not talking dates. We haven't talked dates. And I know that's hard, but look, you just saw what we can do. You absolutely saw the engine at work. You saw people coming into the game, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to just continue doing what we need to do to get the game out. And here's the thing. And it's really important for you all to understand, and I think most of you do get it. Think of it from one perspective, please. If it wasn't our intent to get out the game as soon as possible, if it was to delay it, then why aren't we selling things? I mean, that's the important takeaway, right? We're not selling things. We're not selling horses. We're not selling land plots. We're not selling anything. And so the money that you folks donated, we spent years ago. Now new money comes in. Great, but 2013. So it isn't in our best interest to continue. You could see the money totals on the website. So that's why the investors came in. So we could afford to have the team the size that we have. It's not in our best interest to delay. It's in our best interest to speed up. But, and this is a big but, We don't want to half-ass a delivery. And other games have done that. You know that. Everyone knows that. And we could have said, hey, let's MVP it and just put it out there. Won't do it. So look, I know delays are hard on all of us, but the delays are in so we can make a better game. So not because we can rush, so we don't have to rush things out. And again, if we were profiting by the delays, I could understand why people get upset. I really do. Because if a studio keeps making a lot of money for not putting out a game, well, then it might be an incentive not to put out a game. We have no incentive to not put out a game. The moment we put out a game, then we could start actually making some money off the game and not spending what we've been spending. So, look, I'm not going to say, hey, you can get it fast or you can get it good or all that. I'm just saying it's not in our interest to delay it. We want it to come out. Believe me, we want it to come out. So we're doing the best we can. You'll see more improvements from us. You saw the Cherry Keep. You see that we're working on the Devout. We're going to go to another class. We might be able to bring in an extender. If everything we just said in the 90-day, plan doesn't show you that we're committed to Camelot Unchained, I'm not sure what else I can honestly say.
Isvirata says, Hola, can we expect to see more kind of open world testing stuff other than scenarios or castle sieges in a near future?
Hola. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's part of the plan. Look, when we say scenario, it doesn't have to be tiny, right? It can be big. It can be, nice, big map. And if you're running 24/7, then, it's not totally open world, but it's a good start. So, look, part of Linuxification was so we could do it and do it more affordably. And that's what our goal is. Yes, Tim?
As the keep winds down, do you want us to restart this?
Oh my God, yeah, please. Sorry, should have said that. Okay, hey, folks, if you're in the Cherry Keep scenario, be prepared. Tim is pushing the big red button, and the scenario will die. It will then be restarted, and then you can join again and watch a building get crushed. Is that my car or your car?
Mine. Yeah, it's mine.
Okay. Next, please.
Skartagarin asks, when do you think we will have the servers up for longer?
1 second, sorry, ice. As soon as we get a fully stable Linuxification build, that's the first big test of overnight servers. We also have to make sure the auto scaling and up and down stuff is working, properly. But that's the plan. I mean, that's one of the reasons we're focusing on it. It's one of the reasons we've been asking for help to join us in at times the boring. Here we go again, up and down and up and down. But it's kind of important. So hopefully soon. And not soonish. It's important to us. We want to get Linuxification done. And one of the things I said on the forums was that, Linuxification, it's hard to understand unless you've actually seen the financials about what we're spending. We can spend up to 50 grand a month on servers. So being able to cut that price almost in half or in half, that's a really good thing when you're a studio like us. So, it's not a matter of us, going, okay, we could save a few bucks, or, oh no, we just want to be on Linux. No, it's kind of important. So we thank all of our backers for the patience of Linuxification, because it's been a bear. And one of the reasons it's a bear, I'll just touch on, is the fact that we have so much, code that is ours, especially our, threading library. And so, that took time. It's taking time, but the certainly the worst is behind us. Thank God. And once that is good, ready for testing, I can't wait to run some 24 by something servers and see what happens. Because whatever, when you look at the performance of the game, whether it's today or 6 months ago or a year ago, one of the things that all of our players have seen is a server that's really friggin' stable. What you saw today with the clashes were all client crashes. None with the server. Server ran like a champ. Scenario ran like a champ. Clients, yeah, sort of like the underdog, and not in the Rocky sense. It was, well, actually in the Rocky sense, but the wrong Rocky. But the server stayed up, and the scenario stayed up, even under all of that. So hey, we'll fix the bug, and everything will be good.
A couple of different people are asking about the Skybox. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's a Skybox? When you looked, if you saw, the Ragnarok presentation, if you played God of War, if you've seen other games that seem to have something really big, behind the scenes, something that you may not ever reach, but it really adds a lot to the world. Same when you look up in the, really look up in the sky and see some cool things. One of the things that I cited back when we were doing Warhammer was the great game by BioWare, Knights of the Old Republic. And, one of my favorite games of all time, that I think was BioWare's greatest achievement. And look, Mass Effect and everything with much more money and all that, whole different story. But I thought Knights was amazing. Really, and just a fantastic game, built by some very talented devs. But that's one of the things that they did really, really well. They made the world, even though it was much smaller, feel larger. And that's what we're doing for Camelot Unchained. You've seen our broken moon up there forever, and it's time for an upgrade. And so that's something, that came to us via tech, obviously. And now Art, which is done in another game, is now doing it for Unchained as well. So the other game got all the headaches, and now CU just gets the easier part of it because we know what to do now to make it actually work and look good. So you'll be seeing that absolutely in this quarter.
Sometime soon, guys, with all 700 of you talking, they're going to end up skipping. Yep, there it goes. So some of the questions we'll have to come back around to. Brand did ask, is the plan to have to start the development in the next 90 days or finish in the next 90 days?
Well, make a real effort. We've talked about things. I think some things have been laid out. I don't know the exact what has been done down to every detail because the engineer who's working on it is out sick today, so I couldn't ask him. But no, it is to actually get going and really push the devout forward, and at the same time begin talking about the next class. Because I really, when you look at the classes that we've created for CU in terms of lore, in terms of vision, I'm really looking forward to the Spirit Mages because Slaughterwolf. I mean, Jesus, Slaughterwolf. So can't wait. They're one of my favorites, and love to see them in the game.
Bi-Fi McMahonstick asks, when do you plan to actually add gameplay content? Don't get me wrong, I love what I've seen in CU, but I want a vertical slice of the gameplay loop.
Yeah, now, I mean, that's the whole point. Look at the 90 days that I put up. It's gameplay, classes, scenario. I mean, that's gameplay, right? Crafting, gameplay. So, yeah, that's. I know, look, I'm a broken record at times, and I do apologize for that. But it's been tech, and the tech has been hard. But look at what we've got. And now those same engineers who've done some great work for us in delivering the hard stuff now get to do other stuff. And that is so important. It gives us more talent. And that's even if we don't get anyone else. It gives us more talent that now can focus on things other than Linuxification. So, Paul laughing in the background. So, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, or in this case, there is a gameplay coming.
Several different people are asking how the investors are taking things.
Thank you for that question. It's show and tell time, kids! Tell me when they can see it. So,
yes, they can see it.
okay, the investors sent this today with a very lovely note. Dear Team City State, thank you for all your hard work, determination, and creativity. We are blown away every time we see a new video or get an update from Mark. We are 100% behind you guys and confident that you will change the entertainment world forever. All the best, and then the investors' names. So thank you for that question. I like show and tell. We had told them that there was going to be blowback. We knew there would be. We had hoped, again, we were going to be ready, and I would do a better job of communicating the things that I should have communicated. And again, that's on me, on nobody else. But they get it, and they are absolutely behind us. So, yeah, good stuff.
Some people have asked, including Darrow10, how are the teams organized with the addition of Ragnarok?
Oh, there is no Ragnarok team. I mean, that was and let me also say, since you brought it up, there is definitely some confusion about Ragnarok. Well, first the name, you're fine calling it Ragnarok. Other people have been calling it all sorts of things. It's Final Stand Ragnarok, but there is no Ragnarok team. There's City State Entertainment. We aren't broken up in that way. People work on things, and so much of what we've been working on, again, as you've seen, are things for both games. It's engine stuff. And the other thing that people, and again, this is on me, I did not communicate it properly. Final Stand Ragnarok is essentially a mod to, the Unchained engine, and including Camelot Unchained. I mean, it's a mod to it. It's not a brand new, game running on a different engine. Some people say, well, are you using Unreal? No, we're using our engine. It's just a mod that, maybe it'll become a really good game. But essentially, that's what it is. And so, yeah, no, same organization, same team, people doing a lot of things because so much of it is just engine work. And then people do two things at the same time. We're actually good at that. And some can even chew gum at the same time and do two different things. We're a bunch of talented folks. So, we do go back and forth. I do things, on multiple games and legal stuff and other stuff. And that's how we do things. So, yeah, there is not, we're not that big yet. There is not a Ragnarok team and the Camelot Unchained team. There's City State Entertainment. One company, multiple things, including Cube.
Hot Wings asks, why does it seem like there hasn't been much visual improvement between the May Cherry Keep version and now?
So there was, but the colors are off. We changed the lighting model. We changed the effects model. It's going to look different when we clean it up. You might not have seen this, but I've been saying on the forums that we're going to have a first playable, which is what I just saw, you saw, and a polished build. Polished build will look better. This was literally first playable. I had a backup video that I showed people on the forums from Tuesday in case we couldn't go live. And that was literally first playable because I had told people that, yes, as soon as we get the new build of CU with all the code changes that have been made, we would show you folks. And we did. Got in Tuesday, filmed it, put it up there for you all to look at.
Skeever asks, will I expect anything from Ragnarok merchandise with my builder tier, since they are both the same game, basically?
Merchandise? Merchandising. If you mean merchandise, what?
I got that reference.
Yeah, you did get that reference. If you meant merchandise, like hard merchandise, no. Things like T-shirts and stuff like that. If you meant, the game itself, yes. If you were a backer, before Friday at 4 o'clock. You get the game. It's funny. I did try to make this really clear. We're not trying to treat you guys as walking wallets. We'll leave other companies to do that. Thank you very much. We don't do that. And by companies, I usually mean publishers. We're not going to do that. We didn't want to do that. The investors didn't want us to do that. So yeah, look, if you want to play Ragnarok when it comes out, great. We'd love to have you. If you want to help us test it, great. We'd love to have you. We want to make CU a great game, and we'd love to make Ragnarok a great game, just like we'd like to make Cube a great game. But the same investors and the exact same people who came in 2 years ago are the ones still in. So I know it's hard for some people to believe because, if you remember the TV show House, love that show. His underlying philosophy was people lie, and unfortunately, developers lie. I mean, it's being human. It's not great, but it happens. I can guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you, that these are the same investors from, not only 2018, but from back in the Mythic days. They're the ones who gave us the money to make Dark Age of Camelot. So they kind of want CU to come out. They're kind of focused on that too. So, do not worry, do not fret. We are doing what we can to make 2 great games for you. That's the idea, and then hopefully we'll get to turn Cube into something, special. Because Lord knows, with the shape it's in, you still have people, in our builders brigade doing amazing things with it, and I can't wait to give them even more, power and abilities far beyond those of mortal cubes.
Katomes asks, when would you say we will see a good representation of what the final visuals will be for CU?
Great question. Thank you. Appreciate it. So you're going to see some of that with the Skyball and the Skydome. That's absolutely part of it. You will see certainly more of that over the next 90 days. Absolutely guaranteed. It is something that is important. And there's a good reason for it. And it's not just, developer speak. One of the things I said before is that, and other developers say this as well, is that, because it's kind of the truth, and the artists will all say, that too, is that until you lock down the lighting model, until you can lock down what is going to be affecting your vision, when you play the game, and it's hard to make the rest of the art look good, or make the art look good, because if that lighting is always changing, if the way we do things and represent the world visually is always changing, it's hard for the artists to deliver great things. So obviously we have a certain style for Ragnarok, certain lighting for Ragnarok, and now we're going to lock that down for CU. So once that happens, then the artist can create even more things, because you won't have to redo them again, because that's the biggest problem. If you have, as the artist will tell you, hey, thank you for changing the lighting model, because that means I have to redo every single texture that I've created. So we don't want them to do that. We like them. They're really nice and talented people, and we don't want to drive them crazy.
Max Heyman asks, will there be any new backer tiers which include Ragnarok?
Oh, I should have expected that question. It's a good question. Yes. Thinking about it. Yes, I haven't actually thought about it because it wasn't, something, given everything that's happened in the last week. That was my focus. But yes, absolutely.
Many people are complaining or asking about gameplay, and if you consider what you showed gameplay, etc.
Sure. Some of it is. The Siege is gameplay, right? We said we were going out and building a game that has siege engines, things called siege engines, obviously, in it, that has building destruction in it. So that is part of gameplay. Is it the whole thing? Oh, God, no. But it is part. And that was something I've been talking about on the forums, is that people are going, that's not gameplay. Well, yes, it all is gameplay. Siege is a gameplay. Crafting is gameplay. How the classes interact is gameplay. It's all gameplay. If it's something that you folks can do, and you can do as your characters, if you can do controlling the trebuchets and the siege weapons, if you can do it by just, you know, participating in a siege, that is gameplay. Is it, you know, person-on-person gameplay in the sense of an 8v8v8? Of course not. But it is part of gameplay. So what you saw was a demo, again, of a siege, showing the tech. It wasn't showing me doing siege. I can go in and blow stuff up if you'd like me to. But that's not what was the purpose. The purpose was showing what our engine can do, how it can destroy things, even something like 9.5 million blocks in real time via the server with full physics and stability. I mean, you all saw it. You saw the building collapsing based on the damage that was done, you know, by whether it was the trebuchets or anything else. That is all gameplay. Now, is that a fair representation of what you're going to be doing every night? Of course not. That's a huge building. But it works the same way if we have smaller buildings as we've had in other tests. So we didn't want to waste your time by showing you something like, well, anyone, you know, with our engine, if we made a building that was that, you know, that big, great. Lots of other people can do that. Not that. Not 9.5 million blocks being destroyed in real time with a true physics and stability system. That is part of gameplay. That is part why many of you, not all of you, of course, have backed us. And over the next 90 days, more gameplay. Not necessarily more sieges. There'll be some new siege stuff, but it's not focused on sieges. Guys, just so you know, 19-minute warning. I'm going to cut it off at 2 hours, please. And since we started at 4:15, let's go to 6:15.
All right, 19-minute warning.
Well, the reason why
Nice
is because
round
there's a
number.
lot of questions. I know that. But I am talked out, and but I do want to give you a chance to ask some more. I really do.
Kaladex asks, which Devout class will be the first to go in?
Oh, I'm not telling that. Oh, Cal, come on. That would be telling.
Stanley asks, how much is done to tech in terms of caching at the moment, environment, etc.?
Do you understand that question, Andrew?
You know, I would say
Better for him.
Yeah. Virtually none of it. It's all kind of very, very live. You know, we push things as, you know, close to dynamic as it could be. Even like the terrain is procedural in that, like, it's not like the terrain far away isn't loaded. It's not even generated on your client. And, you know, we sort of like stream the terrain out of an algorithm as you get closer to it. So there's cool stuff like that. You know, every character is completely unique to allow for customizations. Like, you know, you put your character get together. We build on the fly a model in the client that's got, like, you know, your dies and your decals and your, you know, guild emblem and all of that. Just like we make that model on the fly in the client. So almost like, you know, same thing with Cube of just like, you know, no, we don't have like destruction physics pre-calculated. We don't know where, you know, we don't know where the projectile's going to hit. We don't know where the tower's going to fall down. It's all dynamic. And that actually goes back to, you know, one of the foundational principles of, you know, the way that all of these things together, you know, combine where the world reacts to the players and the players' actions and ends up giving you a different experience every time you play. That's, you know, part of what I'd hope makes the game stay fresh is that, you know, no, that's never going to happen exactly the same way. There's going to be like that one time when a tower fell down and crushed a, you know, crushed a phalanx of defending archers, and so that, you know, or maybe attacking archers, or who knows, and, you know, it's, and that's how you get gameplay that's different every time without imposing RNG on the gameplay, because RNG sucks.
Uh, yeah, I'm one of the few people who actually like RNG. But as we've said, this is something that we're making a game for you, not just for me. So, it's something that Ben hates, and right now we have little or none in it, actually. If I remember your answer on that, right, Ben? We have little or no RNG right now.
At present, there isn't any RNG in the combat system of Camelot Unchained.
Okay, so did you hear that from Ben? I know Harvest, if you're listening, that was one of the questions you asked. And not now, but another time. And the answer from Ben, in case you didn't hear it, was we have no RNG right now in the combat system of Camelot Unchained.
The Jag P asks, when will classes get their unique features and depths improved?
So the key right now for classes, we want to get more in. We want to get a really good number to make it as close as we can to feeling like, all right, these are the kind of matchups we're going to get, and then we can not sexy them up, but now we can make them more functional. And functional in the way of you folks creating stuff, the way we had planned, and seeing how everything works. So you will see at least the Devout and another class, and then Ben and I will be talking more about, exactly what to do after that.
Marashi Bari asks, how close are the actual graphics to your vision at CSE for the final game of CU?
Oh, nowhere close. Again, I'll repeat what I said earlier, because this is one of those things that I certainly should, keep saying. Lock down the lighting model, lock down everything we need that can affect how the artists create their art. And then, the visuals will start to reflect far more accurately what we want for CU. On the other hand, when you see what, Travail did with the tower for the TDD, it's not a bad look. But we're not there yet. And the tower is fantastic. So, and you should see the doors. We didn't, get a chance to get them in for this build, I don't think. I forgot it. I'm sorry. But they look kind of awesome. I believe Travail put a post up on the forums. If you really want to see something even prettier, head on over there. Please.
Nada asks, I'm sorry, but you guys just seem like you have an extremely long way to go to have a production release. At what point is too long?
When we run out of money, would be definitely too long. Look, it's, it has been a long journey. But we obviously are still committed. The investors are still committed. There have been a lot of games in the history of the industry that took a while to get done. And sometimes they succeeded. Sometimes they crashed and burned. But I can guarantee you one thing. If you launch a game too early, and especially if you launch it with tech that doesn't work, you kind of kill the game's chance to succeed. And we're not doing that. We're just not.
Hyriol asks a great question. Any messages for folks like me that don't know much about the game beyond the recent internet salt?
Any messages? Yeah, sure. Look at what we're going to be showing over the next 90 days. You don't want to say the cat's out of the bag, because other people, people have certainly seen the engine at work before. But we started to live stream, and now we're going to live stream more as we get, and move further along. That's another thing that folks might want to think about. We just showed it. We just showed the game. We have people playing now. We're going to get people back in more often. We want to go to 24 by issues servers. I don't know whether it's going to be 7 days, 6 days, 3 days, over the weekend, whatever. So, look, there's going to be a lot more info coming out. There's going to be a lot more streaming coming out. And, we hope that people like what they see. I don't want to... One of the phrases I used, it only gets better from here, it gets kind of old after a while. But the thing is, it's been true. Yeah, it's taken longer. It absolutely has taken longer. But look at what we showed you today. We showed you an engine that's doing everything that we said it would do. go back to the Kickstarter. We have exceeded that. So yeah, it does get better from here, and we will do what I have said we will do. We have, for very good reasons, been doubted. You can't doubt what you just saw. The backers who are in the games are seeing it. This isn't, oh, look at the fancy video showing what our game will look like, where it never does. You saw it live. You saw it with me in it. You saw it with 100+ players in it. So we hope you like what you see, and join us. It's gonna be an interesting year. Finally. Oh, and let me say, it's gonna be an interesting year. Finally. Linuxification and other things took longer, and again, I apologize for that, but they're hard. But we got more engineers, we got more artists, and we're delivering more, than we were capable of delivering 6 months ago, or more faster than we were as well than we were 6 months ago.
All right, 10-minute warning.
10-minute warning, people.
It's Z's asks.
Oh my God, it's Z's. I haven't seen you in a while. If you're mad at us, please don't be too mad. I hope everything is well with you, man.
Question is, Mark, if you could start over from day one,
Oh God.
what would
gonna
you
be one
do
of those.
differently in making CU?
Good question, man. Good question. Yeah, I think the one thing that I would do all over again is make sure I have more money up front. So we could have had a bigger team right from the start. And the second thing is better timing. I mean, look, we got hit by a storm of, hey, it's mobile, and everyone went to mobile. And then it was, hey, it's VR, and everyone went over to VR. And then these little companies you may have heard of, Amazon, Facebook, Google, started recruiting engineers even faster than they had before, especially Amazon when it opened up AGS. And look, that just made it harder for us to recruit. And look, this is true across the entire industry. It's not just, oh my God, is Mark Jacobs whining again? No, you can look at the hiring recs, even though a lot of them are fake for companies. True story. A lot of the companies just put up the recs, even though they're not hiring people, just to get names, and they put them in a Rolodex or the equivalent. So, that hurt us. And I think if I had it to do it all over again, that by far is the number one thing. I would have liked to have been in a position where I could have more easily recruited more people to join, what is a very talented, core staff, at CU. Sorry, at CSE. And, that was without a doubt, my biggest mistake. Because if we had that, we would have had an easier time recruiting, and we would have been able to speed up both the Unchained engine and, of course, Camelot Unchained. Great question. Hope you're doing well, man.
Some people want to know about the 90-day roadmap. Is that the same as what was posted on the forums?
No, this is a little bit more in detail about some things. If I missed an item or two, it was just we ran out of time. I obviously we started at 4:15. We had an issue with the build because it's Friday, which I said to somebody, which can be sometimes feel like instead of Friday. Friday's a misspelling. It should be Friday. And we had one of those things. I mean, we were all set, and then something, happened, and we're like, okay, scramble to make sure that we could, show you folks the game live. We had backups, in case. Tim did something really clever, so we had, a backup of that. And Christina was absolutely fantastic in getting the other build up and running. But yeah, just ran out of time. So if there's something I'm missing from that list, it's I'll come to the forums and check it out, and I am sure add it to the list.
All right. I think we've got two good good ending questions that pair well together.
Oh, does it pair well with a wine or
A
cheese?
nice Chianti.
A nice Chianti and some fava beans.
Primitive Progress asks, what is a known upcoming challenge that you think you will run into?
People giving me another chance? You know, I've always taken great pride in being straightforward. Bad or good news, mea culpa, always my fault. And sometimes it can get pretty bad. So for me, that's the greatest challenge. And I do hope, hope, you all, and I know it won't be you all because it can't be everyone. There's always people who won't, and I don't blame them for that. I really don't. So that's mine. In terms of the team, actually, there isn't one. I mean, that's the thing. We've been saying this. We've been consistent that, the really scary things are either done or almost done. And I know it's hard to believe because, look, we had to refactor the ability system a couple of times, and now Linuxification. But at least with Linuxification, we don't have to do it again. It's not like, oh, now we got to go and redo the whole thing. That's not how it works. It just isn't. We can improve it, but it's not like, oh my God, we got to rewrite the whole thing into another Linux. Linux is Linux. There are some differences, obviously, no matter whether you're using Red Hat, Ubuntu, whatever. But it's not like it's a huge thing. Honestly, the biggest challenge facing the team is content, and we'll be working on that. I know we can deliver on the gameplay. I know we can deliver on the vision.
And Treville88, I believe the same Treville
It is.
that built Cherry Keep. What is your favorite upcoming feature to both CU and Ragnarok? And what are the most challenging features you see upcoming?
Oh, good question. Unexpected question. All right, give me a moment. So what are the... I want to end with CU. So for Ragnarok, it would be making it fun for more than, a few hours. That involves combo moves. That involves other things to, really make it, something that people want to play for a while. And so far, the reaction to it has been really good, in terms of people who've been playing it. For CU, and what I'm looking forward to was the second part, right? There's challenges and what I'm looking forward to.
Favorite upcoming feature to
Right.
both CU and Ragnarok, and most challenging features
Right.
upcoming.
So feature upcoming for Ragnarok would be something cool we're doing with the NPCs who are not going to be on the ground. So we had a happy accident. We were doing an initial test of it, and all of a sudden, NPCs that were supposed to be on the ground were up in the air. And it looked like a squadron of bombers. And it was like, oh my God, that's cool. So I want to do the same thing with Ragnarok. On purpose this time. In terms of CU, favorite features will be the class after this one. And why do I say that? Because I think I know which one it's going to be. And I am really looking forward, to what we can do then with them. I'm really looking forward to that. I think they're going to be super cool. They're going to establish a really good look for CU. There will be something that people will look at and go, I want to play that. And that, for me, is something that it's not a feature in the sense of, okay, now we're going to add, I don't know, the next level of crafting. But it is something that is really important to me. And I think it's going to be a class that I'm going to want to play a lot of. And so, that kind of gets me excited. So, and like I said, challenges, content. That's it. That's it. All right, folks. So I've apologized, obviously. I'm mea culpa. I've given you a sense of CU from what we have done, where we are today, and where we're going after 90 days. I hope you really liked what you saw. And if you didn't, I hope you give us some more time, because you are going to like what you see. I appreciate all the support. I even appreciate the people who vented at me. I mean, I really, it's odd. But for the most part, unless they got really, really, really nasty, I get it. You're passionate. I'm passionate. We all say things at times, and we can mean them because, somebody's hurt that passion. So I do. I do really get it. But I hope that what you've seen today, what you've heard today, what you'll see from us as well, will convince you that we've got something special going on. And that was, in no small part, due to you folks who backed our game right from the beginning and allowed us to go down this path. It has been long. It has certainly been winding. But as you saw today, we kind of delivered on it. We kind of delivered on one aspect of it, the hardest part, the thing that no other game has been able to do as well. And we've played them. You've played them. The idea of a large-scale siege with lots of people in it, with lots of NPCs in it, and the engine, the server, all holding up. And it did, and it held up beautifully. What you've seen then is just a taste of what you'll be getting, not only in the next few months, but afterwards as well. So with that, and as always, speaking on behalf of City State Entertainment and myself, please accept for the last time, I hope, my mea culpa, and we thank you for your support. We thank you for your patience, and we hope you will continue with us on our journey. We have absolutely every intention of releasing a great game with Camelot Unchained. And again, I hope you all either stay with us or join us in the future. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
See you later.